Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar. This is workshop number 3, and we welcome you to this webinar. So today's webinar is being recorded, and we will email you the presentation. And if you have any question, please type it in the chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Thank you again for being here this morning. Okay, so as I said that today we're going to be talking plan. So
I'm going to help you out a little bit, Jaspreet, because you're breaking up, if it's okay. Your voice is breaking up a little bit, and so I'm going to just say this is our marketing plan. This is where you're going to learn a great deal. Hopefully Jaspreet's sound will come back on, but she's freezing right now. I'm Tom Sims, Jaspreet, Chowan, and Woody Alexander are our panelists today, each well-versed in their own fields. You received homework last week. Hopefully you've been able to connect with your mentor and get started on that. If not, you're always able to get a mentor. We always let you know how to do that in the before the end, and these folks will help you walk through your homework assignments. Here's where you are in the process. You're at the green box, and next week we'll be looking at financial matters, and the following week at ways to finance your business. Our agenda for today is going to cover branding and marketing strategy and crafting your marketing message, targeting your markets and channels, products and services, channel strategies, marketing methods, social media, and sales. And you're bound to have some questions because we're glossing over these. So start writing them in the chat as they arise, and we will come to them. We won't miss them. We market because we need to communicate our ability and our product, our reliability, our strategy, our competence in our field. If we don't communicate these things, no one will know them. So that's what marketing is about. In order to be effective marketers, we have to create, maintain, and protect a brand, a recognizable brand. You see a brand behind me for SCORE. A brand is your business image. What do you want your business to be known for? What makes it stand out to the crowd? It includes unique features and special benefits, your limits and liabilities, production and delivery methods, your suppliers, and don't forget your intellectual property and those special properties that are about your business. Your marketing plan and strategy involves creating a concise message about your products or services that describes how it fulfills your target customers' needs. That's why we had you looking at those things early on in the business plan canvas and starting your business plan. It involves their need for quality and price that is correct for them, availability, dependability. It clearly defines unique key features and can be measured. It can be measured. Your effectiveness can be measured. Here's an example of a marketing message for a company called We Are Planet Earth, but you insert your own business name in there. We Are Planet Earth searches the world for recycled, reused, and salvaged goods, or you could say products, to offer our environment, well, whatever your products are, that's what you put in there. That to offer our environmentally concerned customers. Those are your target customers. See that? The best products resurrected from what would otherwise fill up a landfill. Those are your unique features. And so you add your components to your marketing plan, which are, you always identify your target market. You answer the question, what are the unique features of your product or service? You determine what your marketing channels are going to be. That's how you deliver this message. Your top marketing communication methods will be a part of your strategy, and then how you're going to use social media in all of this, because you will and you must. Who are you going to sell to? That's going to help you determine your channel position. You will profile these key people or groups or businesses by looking at demographics, by understanding the income level of your target audience. Is there a gender? Is it about geographics? Their buying habits, their behavior, the market size and realistic penetration? Is it growing or is it declining? And then you're going to continue to ask yourself, is this filling target customer needs? Is it profitable? Are you getting more sales? Are you experiencing minimum channel conflict? Are you in a favorable competitive environment? And does this strategy fit your vision and skills? So the group exercise is actually going to be something that you're going to work on individually and with your mentor. But we're going to look at target markets. We're going to look at your channel position, your demographics, the buying habits of the people you're targeting, the key needs versus product services, cost versus product, sales size, estimate of your potential market penetration. And we'll send you this worksheet in an email after this. I'd like to turn it over to my very able colleague, Woody Alexander. Woody, are you there? Am I here? Can someone give me feedback? All right, there you are, Woody.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the confusion. The issues that we want to go over are your products and services, or we'll start out there, and what you should be prepared when we do talk about your business, be able to talk about if you have special or unique benefits and features which set you aside or set you apart from everyone else. At least be prepared to talk about your strong points. At the same time, you want to be straightforward, and if you can't or don't want to do something, what are your limits? I don't do this. I'm not 24/7. We don't do deliveries. We use a delivery service or whatever. You should also be able to talk about your suppliers, the quality, the timeliness of support, and hopefully they're a big asset to you. And then, of course, intellectual property, your own qualifications, and if you need special business permits or licenses, they should all be either displayed or readily available so everybody can know who you are and the background. Okay, let's go forward. In talking about marketing channels of distribution, this is really just the path that your goods and services take from their origin to the customer. Sometimes we have direct sales, business to business. Certainly businesses supply other businesses, and that's what we call the B2B channel. There's also producer to distribution to retailer. The producer would be maybe the manufacturer or the importer of a good, to a distribution center or to a supplier, to you then the retailer or who's going to be working with the consumer or customer. The direct sale would be for you going as a distributor going straight to the final consumer, business to consumer. Certainly there's sales on the internet, and certainly there's different networks to get involved with for services. We'll talk about those as they come up. Okay, let's go next panel, next chart. Are we ready for the next chart? There we go. Okay. This gives you an idea of what we call channel strategy support. If you look at the three top boxes, e-commerce, Amazon, and Shopify, different channels. And then we look at startup costs down the left side, advertising expenses, and what's involved. So if you look at the startup cost for e-commerce, somewhere around $1,200 to $3,700. Amazon's usually around $3,000, and Shopify's about $2,000, just to start. Then advertising that you're going to spend per year supporting or working with those sites or those channels, somewhere around, in this case, $1,200 a year. But it doesn't have to be equal. It might be you have 80% on e-commerce or very little on e-commerce and a lot on Shopify. At any rate, just to give you an idea. And down below, what each of the channels basically is good at. E-commerce, certainly social media and Google. Amazon, of course, certainly with Amazon, they're good with fulfillment and premium account services. And Shopify, again, is good with social media, also fulfillment, Google Ads. So you've got to see which channel works best for you. I would certainly be in one or two of them, just like this shows, but it doesn't have to be equal. Okay, next channel, next chart. Okay, top methods. Basically, how do we reach our consumer, our target market? Certainly advertising through online directories, through social media, through banner ads, mobile announcements or mobile media. Certainly there's public relations. And the good thing about public relations is advertising you pay for. Public relations is something that basically is free. You've got to do the work behind it, but it can be print, i.e. posters or flyers, some radio interviews you might do, some interactions on blogs, or even a podcast. Collateral material is certainly your printed material, business cards, brochures, your signage, your letterhead, and if you're going to have conceivably promotional giveaways. Digital marketing, the online or social media type part of it, you have search engine optimization. So your keywords or the search becomes easier for you, or people help you position that way. And your pay per click advertising, you don't pay for anything unless people or users click on your ad or your website. Also email and content marketing, social media and customer surveys, all different ways of getting your message out. And of course, at the bottom, product samples and or special offers. Okay, next one. When we talk about collateral, we talk about print materials, business cards, flyers, trade show banners, in-store signage, maybe items that you see people on the corner, depending on the nature of your business, the people with signboards or banners literally on the street. Okay. And this, of course, is based on your marketing strategy, the type of business, and the type of location you're in, determine which kind of marketing collateral you need or is even allowed in certain areas. Okay. Print ads, certainly there's local print shops in different places. There are people that actually are entrepreneurs, and they do the design, layout, and so forth. So there's quite a few, if you will, local print outlets. Direct mail certainly is still available. The chart says it's made a comeback. Certainly postcards and third-party direct mail solutions. We all refer to, or not we all, but a lot of us refer to mail as junk mail. And we all know how much we generally get. The reason we get so much, believe it or not, it works. It works about, the last numbers I saw, somewhere around a 10 to 12% return. So even though it's junk mail to a lot of people, the senders are getting notice and some business. Broadcast on radio, TV, certainly is certainly available. Cable ads can be on cable networks, can also be affordable. And public relations, if you allow for interviews and blogs and so forth, you may or may not need a formal press release. Okay, next slide. All right, then online digital. Basically, we're talking about your website. And this is, in today's world, it is absolutely a requirement. Just as the chart says, even if you don't plan to sell anything, every business needs a website just to prove its credibility, have its information, help prospective customers. And needless to say, the website also brings, and it's more than a form of advertising, because it shows you your location, your hours, certainly your address, your phone number, and email, and possibly your online marketing activities, etc. At any rate, it's absolutely one of the starting positions. Okay, next slide. Also, we've got to be involved as a company on online directories such as Google or Bing, Yelp, help internet users find businesses when they're searching. So it's important that people can find you, and there's I won't say this is the new yellow pages, because it's a lot different and much more prolific and easy to use, the online directories, and as you're well aware. Local search directories, also local communities, local business areas. Certainly you want to have your hours of operation, your phone numbers, and keywords for your product or your service not only to enhance your image, but make sure people can find you. Okay. The other aspects of email are it's a good way and an economical way to keep in touch with your clients and your customers. You gather email addresses from your customers, and then you have certainly develop an email list or have a company or a service do it for you. Once you have the list, you send the customers not only email newsletters, but some marketing emails on specials or promotions or discounts or any promotion that you're starting or can, at any rate, it's a way to spread the news. And then you also have to be much aware or very aware of spam laws that, and because we've got to keep it on the straight and narrow. And also using email marketing services can simplify the email marketing you're doing, your website hosting and other services. Of course, those cost money, but possibly it can enhance your efforts. Okay. The other thing is, if you will, online ads. Online advertising is basically a must. It's a way people are communicating today, whether it's social media, whether it's the website, whether it's, as we're going to get into in a minute, the various social media functions. And the way to pay for it generally is pay per click. This is advertising that doesn't cost to run. It just costs if people target and hit your website or ad, then you pay. So you're only paying for people that you're definitely at least click on your ad. Some do it by mistake, some aren't there very long, but at least it's somebody looking and it's been reasonably effective. The thing you've got to worry about is cutting it off. So it's not unlimited what people can do. Okay. And basically these point per click ads are can be in Google AdWords or Microsoft ads. You can also place banner ads or have websites that attract customers. Okay. And of course, this is where you want to be to attract your target customers. And you use basically a service like Google Analytics, or there's others out there that show you the effectiveness of your campaign or using certainly their services. And the web host or the companies that help provide these services also have tools where you can learn more about the visitors that come to your website and how many of them want to contact you and buy from you, and the different statistics. Okay, next slide. Now, the other thing you should consider is what we consider marketing by channel type. And that's either your business to business. An example might have been in the days Xerox supplying copiers to business. Also business to business for a service, something like eFax. Business to a consumer, certainly a product like Nike. Business to a consumer for a service, the Merry Maids type operation where they're providing a service. Certainly internet sales on Amazon. And then when we get down to the effectiveness of marketing, it'll certainly vary by target markets, the channels you're using, and your own marketing mix. Remember, we were talking about the different channels and how much you were going to spend. Certainly you want to, again, look at business to business, business to consumer, or whether you're in the direct sales channel, okay? And one of the big ones, of course, is social media. And we're going to take a stronger look into those right away. So let's take a look. Okay, the big one is Facebook. 74% at last count use Facebook. 74% of Americans use Facebook once a day. 51% use Facebook several times a day, and people spend an average of 34 minutes a day on Facebook. Amazing statistics. I think they're changing a little bit now as Facebook's run into a few issues of, if you will, bad press or less than complimentary press here in the last month or two or a couple months, but at any rate. The other important aspect is 80% of the people using Facebook use it from a mobile device. And 19% use both mobile and desktop. So certainly the mobile aspect of social media is huge. And literally clicking on those links down there, we can get the latest Facebook statistics and demographics. Okay. Next slide, and I think Tom's going to take over at this point.
Thank you, Woody. This may all seem a little daunting, and it may get a little more daunting for you, but that's why we provide mentors for you, and the marketing plan is a vital part of your business plan. 63% of Americans check Instagram at least once a day. That's as of 2 or 3 years ago. Instagram is very popular with younger people. 42% check Instagram several times a day. Their trends are going up. I'm not going to read the numbers because they've changed since we made these slides. The average number of minutes people spend on Instagram has grown significantly since these last figures in 2019. And the latest Instagram statistics and demographics, that link may or may not work, but that information can be found on the same platform as Facebook. You can manage your Instagram and your Facebook now because Meta owns both from the same platform, and you get a business account, and we'll talk to you about that in mentoring and in some advanced workshops we have, but it enables you to do 2 things at once. Twitter, always changing, but there's still millions of people on it. 42% of Americans checking it twice a day, 25% checking it several times, 42 once a day. The amount of time people spend on it is growing, and can help you find the most recent statistics. LinkedIn is a great network for people who want to connect with other professionals and other business people. Even though it's a fewer number of people, they may be the right people for you. Now, all of these platforms are every month rolling out new products to help the marketers. When 12% of Americans check it several times a day, 57% of their traffic is mobile, and their statistics are, again, constantly changing, going up. Many people use Pinterest, especially artistic people, content creators. I'm a content creator. It's not one of my primary sources, but certain content I always cross promote and post on Pinterest. It has, at last count, 450 million monthly users. Retailers use it very effectively, and it's also very popular among women because of the kinds of products that get featured there. YouTube and Facebook do continue to dominate. They're very interactive. Often they're competing in some of the kinds of targeting, pay-per-click ads, and in terms of Facebook trying to catch up with YouTube and replace it on their videos, but they're probably not. You can still embed all of those things. 40% of adults say they use Instagram, and 30% say they use Pinterest or LinkedIn. 25% say they use Snapchat, Twitter, and WhatsApp. I'm not sure why we put Snapchat and WhatsApp in there, except that they cater to shorter messages, but they have a lot of qualitative differences, but you've got a lot of people using them. TikTok is used by a growing number of people, and it is a great place to put short impact, high impact messages. Nextdoor is a way to target your neighborhood or a specific geographical area if you're offering local services. TikTok is on the rise. It's very popular with young people, but it's also very popular with all ages. And we have more information. We can get you on that. Again, we have specialized webinars. The marketing message for We Are Planet Earth is an example of how folks plug in these general ideas to their marketing message: the product, service served, the target markets, the unique features, the customer benefits. And these are components of your message that you really must have in place before you try any of the social media. By the way, keep in mind on social media is two-way. You must be willing and you must train yourself to be responsive to the people, to receive messages as well as send messages. Those are the most effective users of social media. You want to identify different target customers by channel. This is going to be an exercise we want to take you through. You want to estimate one-time expenses, monthly and annual expenses, and staff time expended. And get with your mentor and do that. You say, how much should I budget? You know, your budget is totally in your control, especially with Google ads and Facebook ads. It's really a bidding process. You spend exactly what you want to spend and no more. And sometimes you'll spend less because it's difficult to spend, but you map it out. You map out your strategy. Results are dependent upon what you spend. Using this marketing message, I think we've already said most of this, but we want to make sure that you get that, you know what you're offering, you can say what you're offering, you can target the right market, you can describe your unique features. In the one-page business canvas, we call that your value propositions and your customer benefits. Now, everything involves sales. Nothing moves. I don't care what kind of system you're in, unless product and services are moving and selling. Even if it looks like it's a recruiting business, no money is made unless a product or service is moved. So how do you make a sale? Sales and one-on-one sales will always be a component of what you do. You can marketing will get their attention. Sales will close the deal. Marketing gets your customers to the door. Sales brings in the money. Effective sales requires attention, common sense, and creative thinking, and attention to relationships. Prepare for a sales cycle based on your marketing plan. Not everything, you don't buy Christmas trees in July normally. Know your company's strengths and weaknesses and be able to communicate them. Know your competitors' strengths and weaknesses, and begin to think of your competitors as friends who prompt you to do better. And never be satisfied with the status quo. I think one of the things that we might have coming up is how to sell effectively. And that's an art form, but it can be learned. Keep your customers and, and get new ones. You want to take them on a journey. First, they are out there in the crowd, and then they become inquirers, and then they become customers, and then they become regular customers, and then they become ambassadors, and the sky's the limit. Provide a wow experience. They come away saying, wow, that was a great experience working with XYZ Industries. Entice them, and even more so, Bob at XYZ Industries. Entice them to stay in touch through social networks, email, mobile events, direct mail. Remember, it's two-way, but this is your continuing conversation because you're not just trying to make a sale, you want a long-term relationship. Engage the people. That's what we're saying here. Through discussion, promotions, events, polls, and surveys, and sharing information. You say, Tom, this takes a lot of thinking. Yep, but aren't you glad you got a partner? And engagement, social visibility, those things bring you new prospects. And you always want new prospects, but you want to keep the old ones happy. So here's where we've been. We kind of done a rush through. I expect we're going to be able to dig in on some of the questions, but we just wanted to put it out there. We just finished session 3. Our next 2 sessions, financial matters and funding options. Your workbook has even more information, and our student webpage with the link here. We know this link works very, very well. score.org/get started. So you want to keep up working on your feasibility plan, or you may be working with your mentor already on your one-page business canvas, or you may have graduated to your financial worksheet, or you may have been working on your more in-depth plan. But get with your mentor, continue to work on it. If you're working solo, continue to work on the paperwork we've been sending you in the emails. Fill out a comparison for selection of target markets worksheet that is in the handbook, but we're also going to send you a copy of it. And now we've kind of, you probably saying, Tom, boy, that was like drinking from a water hose. And I know that's right. But we're going to get started on some questions here that have been coming up. And Connie's working on this thing now. She says she's loving it. Can you send me after the event? Oh yeah, everything's coming. I think Christine has already answered that question. Woody, I'm going to prime the pump on questions. By the way, Jaspreet didn't get mad at us. She has a connection problem. Some of you who live in the valley know how the wind's been blowing and knocking down bolts. Woody.
Yes, sir.
45, 48 years ago, I started marketing events, groups, services. The complexion of the world was so different, and yet something seemed to remain the same. Could you comment on that a little bit? We all know that the vehicles we use for marketing have changed, but in what ways have the principles of marketing remained the same?
Well, in most instances, in fact, practically every instance, the dynamics between interpersonal relations with your neighbors, your friends, the local community really hasn't changed. People are people, and we are working with people. So the information of being where people are, being a service, being responsive, and literally having, if you will, what they need becomes, I won't say your gift, but it becomes how we target markets, how we respond to those target markets, and how we basically, what we want to do is have clients get to know us, get to use us, come in and repeat or use us numerous times, and use us, our product or service, well enough that they become an advocate for us. Advocate meaning that they will serve as a reference. They'll tell their friends or neighbors or whoever, if you need product X or product Y, go see Tom or use your service. So that's where we're going. That hasn't changed. By far, the number one way to get sales and stay in business, if you will, over the long run is by referrals. People giving you the endorsement and referring you, better than social media, better than advertising. It's the way that people trust referrals, where the others are means of advertising, but
and that's the genius of social media. It makes it possible for people to make referrals in a more efficient way. And I pay more attention to those kinds of referrals. If somebody says, do you know a good plumber? And I post it, well, not only does that person see it, but 100 other people see it. And
absolutely.
That's really great, Woody. The importance of analytics was something you said really came up in my mind. You cited some statistics that startled me, 10 to 12% print. And then because I've been doing print mass mailing, like I said, for 45, 48 years, but to a geographic, everybody in that geographic area. And I was always lucky to get between 1/10 of 1% and 1% return on my dollar. But what you're talking about, I believe, is pre-qualified targets. So someone has done the analytics. And so the people in the list business are pre-qualifying those targets. And that makes a huge difference, both online and in print, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Again, it's attacking your quote target market rather than the population at large. And when you're fishing in the right pond or the right stream, you're going to be a lot better than just trying to use the same bait everywhere. So
that's right. And so people say, well, I tried that and it didn't work. Well, what did you try? Are you picking up a handful of marketing mud and throwing it on the wall and hoping that something sticks? Or are you doing your research? And so it's really important before you launch that you do your research, because you have $1 in your hand and you can only spend it once.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, research and what works for you, and this is why it's important to literally get the SCORE mentor who's been through some of these battles, if you will, and can get you in at least going in the right direction and so forth.
I have another question that's in my hand right here regarding budget for marketing budget. Is there a rule of thumb I realize it may vary between industry, but a long-standing rule of thumb, how much of your budget you would spend on advertising and marketing if you were trying to get your business some visibility?
Well, again, generalizations don't always work for everybody, but kind of a rule of thumb that we use, or that is used, is if your sales are for, let's just say, $100,000, and that could be high for some, generally somewhere around 5% of your sales should be reinvested into marketing and promotional efforts. It really, depends on, again, your profit margins and literally your target markets and everything else. But a general rule of thumb, something like 5% of your revenue should be literally put back into the business as promotion or additional.
Your net sales?
Yes, sir.
It wouldn't be unreasonable to go as high as 10 in some industries.
No. And
I'll give you an example. A friend of mine has a service industry where he deals with people in an emergency and they need someone to come out within 2 hours. And so he invests $5 per qualified lead to get to the top of the search engine, because they're going to call the person at the top of the search engine, and he's going to make $3,000 to $5,000 on that telephone call.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions in the queue? Christina, did you see any I missed? Oh, I see something in the Q&A. I need help sending my state taxes. Well, we certainly sympathize with that. We don't have anybody that helps with the taxes, but we can point you in the right direction of where you can get help. We have to direct you to professionals, because that is a service we would be practicing malpractice if we tried to do too much with that. But we can get you to the right websites. We have articles and templates and videos on our website, and we can help you find the right ones. So get in touch with us, and we can probably answer that question in a mentoring session if it's a simple question. But have to be very, very careful about giving tax advice, because that's the realm of accountants. Anybody else? Well, I think that brings us to a close. If anybody has any final words, we're so glad you're here. We look forward to seeing you the next time. We hope you sign up for the next workshop webinar. That information on how to sign up is going to be in the PowerPoint PDF. We're sorry that wasn't technically possible for you to have that note-taking capacity ahead of time. But you can request a SCORE mentor at www.score.org/find-mentor, and that's in the chat box. It's always a pleasure to meet with you. Always a pleasure to work with you, Woody. Such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom and insight.
Hey, Tom. Good morning, by the way. Connie is asking if there's a feasibility sample.
Well, yes, we have templates for that. And we have one of the first things our mentors do with you is walk you through it. We call it the one-page business canvas model. And we have some supporting documents like a SWOT analysis. And we have a couple of worksheets that we've been passing out. So those are all available on the student page that the link was at the beginning of this presentation. So yes, we use the Canvas for feasibility studies and preparing them. Now, if you're talking about the feasibility study that DGS required, Department of Governmental Services requires for doing business with the state, they have some other categories, but all the information you need for that can be garnered from doing the one-page business canvas. We're happy to walk with you and hold your hand through that and help you get through that process. Did that clarify?
I
Connie?
can unmute her if that's okay, Tom.
Yes, please unmute Connie.
Okay,
And
Connie,
we'll dialogue with her.
Yeah.
Again,
Thank
Connie.
you. Yeah, hi. I've been struggling with putting a feasibility study together, and I studied the Canvas model, the one-page Canvas model, but I wasn't sure if the Canvas would replace the full feasibility study. Would that mean the same?
We use them interchangeably. We use the Canvas to help you do your feasibility study. A feasibility study will often be something that's, are you talking about doing business with the state or the federal government?
Yeah, well, I'm doing a full analysis of a business idea, if it's worthy of me to invest in, and I've been researching on it online, everything, but
Yeah.
it's just pretty dry, pretty all over the place. And then I studied the Canvas model. It's very, very specific, but I wasn't sure if the Canvas model was sort of in place of a full feasibility study.
The way I use it with the people that work with me is as your first step in a template from which you can garner information to plug in what others are looking for. We have a variety of templates that we can make available to you. This is something that you really want to sit down with your mentor on, but you will get the basic information you need by doing the Canvas. And then the next step is filling out your fuller business plan, which has your feasibility study in it.
I see.
Peter might want to jump in on this too.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. Also, if we were able to access the IBS marketing records through your center, do you have that available for us? We
can help you figure out how to. I think you can get those through the public library.
Let me answer the feasibility study that she's talking about. The 4 basic feasibility studies you're looking for regarding your business is your technical feasibility. What kind of technology are you using for your business? Financial feasibility. Are you financially sound to do business? And then the other one is your marketing feasibility. What marketing tools are you using? And your operations feasibility. So the 4 elements is technical, financial, market, and operation.
Would you answer her follow-up question also, Peter? Would you restate it, Connie?
When I doing the feasibility study, I found that I need to know the variety of different ratios and comparison with industry major player, like in the IBIS world records. Do you have that at your center we can use, because it's so expensive to subscribe to it?
Yeah, you can find that in the RMA, the Risk Management Association. You find those at the main library. It's not on the shelf. You'll have to ask the librarian. Do you work with a local bank?
No, I think online.
Yeah, the RMA is very, very expensive. It's about $900 a year for a subscription on it, but this is what they use for benchmarks. Gives you different ratios by business on there. But the county library has it accessible to you. Just ask the librarian and you can look it up there. Or you may call them virtually and give them the name of your business and they can look it up for you. If sometimes I'll do that. So, kind of let the telephone do the walking for you. But if you're dealing with the local bank, the bank has that in the desk drawer there that they use when they look at loans, and they look at different ratios of different industries and specifically, and that's how they gauge your business to see if you're bankable or not. But that's what they make that reference to.
Honey, we'd be glad to have more conversation with you on, offline with this one-on-one, and plug you into whatever resources we have as we delve into your specifics.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that, because I went to our library and they have this thick book, but it's really old. And so, yeah, and it's not up to date. So it's like 10 years ago.
Well, I'm disappointed to hear that.
Yeah.
No, that's true. It's updated every census period. So it's about 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
10. Okay. Well, there you go. That's the answer to that. Well, there are other sources of more updated information, but that build on that.
Well,
and projections.
I might say the census data from 2020 is just now becoming available. We're 2023. It takes about 2 years for, even in today's day and age, for them to gather all the information. So anything that says 2020 is as current as you're going to get on demographics and statistics from the census. And that'll be good for another 4 or 5 years. And then we'll be looking at the 2030 census. So
We don't want you to tell too much about your specific business here in the public, but when we know a little more, we can help you maybe access metrics that are not apparent that are outside of that. Okay.
Do you have an email we could contact you?
Christina will put the contact information in there, but your very best way to get in touch with us is to go onto that site to request a mentor, get specific, and you can narrow it down, and you can make specific requests. You can even look at the profiles of the mentors. There, you have a lot of options there. But Christina has already put her email address in there if you get stuck on something.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She does all of our heavy lifting.
I really need your presentation today, and that's just what I need right now. So thank you so much.
Well, we're very gratified to hear that.
In many ways, with your information here. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. Any other questions before we close this out? We want to respect your time, and we're almost at the hour mark.
I don't see any other questions, Tom. I already sent out the email, the follow-up email. Just give it a few minutes for that recording to show up for you. And there's a lot of handouts in that email, so keep an eye out for that. Check your spam folder if you didn't receive it. And that's it. If you want to request a mentor, I put that link there in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Connie. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.